Tonight on News 5 Live, no set date for the Senate of inquiry into the definitive agreement, but preparations are underway for the public hearings. An immigration officer is under investigation for questionable conduct on and off the job. Tonight on Belize on Real, travelers celebrate 70 years in the liquor industry and a legal outcome that promises to change the payment of child maintenance. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
We're outside with the Jawan.
We don't want no bad vibes in the mass. Pick a side. Everybody ready up for the mass. Pick a side. All ready to jump, all ready to play, all ready for mass, ready to make we name, all ready to jump hard, we are hard, jump hard, we are hard. No better pick a side, 'cause now we ready to ride. This side of fire, this side of energy, a positive energy, and they cannot damage it. My side of fire, my side of energy, a positive energy, and they cannot damage it. Showing up everything, showing up everything, up in the sky there. Tell them to pick a side, oh. Showing up everything, everything, up in the sky there. Tell them to pick a side. All the pain make me stronger, I suffer no longer. The harder the fight, Lord, the victory sweet. We just time in me life, no, man, nothing no bother me. I pull up our energy, can't stop me now. All ready to jump, all ready to play, all ready for mass, ready to make we name, all ready to jump hard, and we are hard, and jump hard, and we are hard. You better pick a side, 'cause now we ready to ride. Nah.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize, knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
Not only do we have the most reliable ferry service between San Pedro, Keycocker, and Belize City, we also have a pretty awesome crew. Check us out at sprinter.bz.
Atlantic Insurance informs our valued customers and the general public that effective September 18th, 2023, our corporate headquarters and Belcan branch will be moving. Our new location, the Atlantic Insurance Tower, located at 2.5 miles Philip Olson Highway. All our phone numbers will remain the same. Our Colette and Albert branches will remain at their existing locations. Join the Atlantic Insurance family today and experience the future of insurance. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
It's Carnival time, and once again, Channel 5 will bring you all the fun and excitement of this year's Carnival Road March. Our live coverage starts at 1 p.m. on Saturday, September 9th, with highlights of the King and Queen competition, mass camps, and Juve, leading up to this year's spectacular road march. Don't miss all the sights and sounds of Carnival 2023 right here on Channel 5 and on our Facebook and YouTube pages.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, September 7th. I am Sabrina Daly. A date is yet to be confirmed for the start of a public hearing to be conducted by a Senate Special Select Committee. Nonetheless, gears are in motion for an upcoming investigation into the signing of the controversial document between the government of Belize and Portico Enterprises Limited. On Wednesday, a notice was issued by the clerk of the National Assembly inviting all media houses to submit tenders for the live broadcasting of the inquiry. The definitive agreement, which was signed by David Gegg on behalf of Portico and former Minister of Economic Development Erwin Contreras, is also at the center of a lawsuit brought against Contreras. We begin our newscast tonight by looking back at what has transpired since the document came to light and what can be expected once the hearings get underway. News 5's Isani Catano reports.
A notice has been issued by the National Assembly inviting all media houses to bid for a contract to broadcast the public hearings of the upcoming Senate Special Select Committee. The session to examine evidence regarding the signing of the possibly dishonest and immoral definitive agreement between the government of Belize and Portico Enterprises Limited was requested by NGO Senator Janelle Chanona. Amid the debacle that ensued when the dubious agreement finally came to light, Chanona's call for an inquiry was answered. She was also selected by her peers in the upper house to lead the investigation.
Yes, the members have asked me to lead on this, but truly will be guided throughout by the terms of reference set out in the motion that was passed and opposed by the Senate, and we will do so within the powers and procedures set out in the Constitution as per the functions of the Senate in conducting inquiries of this nature.
As we've reported, the controversial deal was signed by the former Minister of Economic Development several weeks prior to the last general elections that were held in November 2020. It was reportedly done without the knowledge of his cabinet colleagues, including the former Prime Minister and the Attorney General.
I repeat this position. I was aware that there was a definitive agreement going around because they wanted me to sign one. I said, I will not sign that. I did not become aware that it was signed and signed by one of our ministers at the time until earlier in this year when everybody found that out. I was the one who wrote to the Prime Minister in the first place to say, Prime Minister, I'm being informed that there is a signed definitive agreement going around and I want to see it.
That 31-page document, dated October 1st, 2020, was endorsed by Erwin Contreras. He is being sued by Waterloo Investment Holdings Limited and the parent company for the Port of Belize Limited. In his defense, Contreras denies that the definitive agreement was signed hastily and in secret. He goes on to say that the government of Belize was in negotiations with the then Attorney General, as well as the principals of Port of Magical Belize. According to Contreras, as far as he was aware, multiple drafts were being exchanged.
What he said in his defense is totally untrue. There were never negotiations going on, but then you could say this to yourself. Let's take it at its maximum. Let's just say there were negotiations going on between the government and Portugal. Let's just say that. And I'm not saying that that was what was happening, but let's just say that that was what was happening. Why would you sign in the middle of negotiations? Why don't you wait for the negotiations to be over before you sign? So to me, it's inconsistent with what he's saying, but that's my response to that.
While that matter will be settled in the High Court, the pending Senate Special Select Inquiry will review all documents tied to the signing of the definitive agreement, paperwork related to the presentation of that agreement, as well as draft legislation to Cabinet.
We are certainly minded to work as expeditiously as possible. All senators have expressed that we really want to get this started and through, working towards recommendations. It was clear that we have a tradition to break, so to speak. We don't want our report on this matter to sit on a shelf. We want that it can be acted upon and that it proves meaningful, and that is really the mandate we're working towards. And of course, we will be keeping the public up to date on everything that we can keep the public on in terms of scheduling, etc.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isana Cayetano.
Earlier this week, a video that was leaked showing an immigration officer cutting up what appears to be a white powdery substance went viral. The video shows a disheveled-looking officer in a bedroom setting, apparently commenting on the drug she appeared to be mincing with a card. Late this evening, attorney Nazira Miles, acting on behalf of the immigration officer, Cherie Flores, issued a press release chastising the media for what she described as an attack on Flores's good name and reputation as a woman immigration officer and public servant. The release states that the people who initially spread the information about Flores were those from her own workplace who, quote, with ill motive and malice have disseminated a video which is not recent and fails to expose the true circumstances of the event on the date of the video, unquote. The release goes on to state that Flores categorically denies any of the allegations made by these persons and the media that she is seen using an immigration card to cut a line of cocaine and any repeat of publication of extortion, which she has also been accused of committing. Flores, the release continues, demands that a proper investigation be conducted by the minister and the Department of Immigration on those persons who have attempted to tarnish her reputation. Flores accuses her co-workers of ill actions, which started when she helped the department to uncover dishonest acts among officers of the department. Finally, it states that Flores has filed police reports against these persons and is in the process of commencing court actions against people who continue to defame her name. Meanwhile, the second video of a man claiming that the same immigration officer extorted money from him also went viral. The video certainly put a bad image on the immigration officer, and the Minister of Immigration, Eamon Courtney, is not pleased with what the video portrays. He says that an investigation is already underway, but that the Public Service Commission has to lead the way since she is a public officer.
That officer is under the proper procedure for there to be an investigation as to what has happened. The videos speak quite a lot, so I don't expect it's going to be a very long investigation. But the Public Service Commission has jurisdiction over that type of thing. The Chief Executive Officer updated me yesterday on the steps that they have taken in relation to that officer. I will be a bit frank. What I saw is not acceptable as far as I'm concerned.
38-year-old police constable Mauricio Cobb pleaded not guilty to sexually assaulting his colleague at the Ladyville police station on Monday evening. According to the female officer who filed a complaint against Cobb, they were on a police-issued motorcycle when they went to drop off food for a fellow officer. She stated that she smelled alcohol on Cobb's breath. They stopped at a residence for about 45 minutes, and that's when he noticed that PC Cobb was slurring and staggering while walking towards the motorcycle. She reportedly told Cobb that she was able to ride the motorcycle and attempted to do so. And that's when he allegedly pushed his hands inside her pants. Earlier today, Cobb was arraigned in the lower court on a single count of sexual assault before being placed on interdiction. He pleaded not guilty and was offered bail in the sum of $1,000 plus one surety of the same amount, which he was able to meet. He is set to return to court on November 6, 2023. Convicted prisoner Clinton Medina, who is serving time for firearm offenses, is back in court where he is on trial for theft. Medina is accused of stealing a Toyota 4Runner from businessman Robert Wagner, who owns and operates Euphrates Auto Rental. In the courtroom of the chief magistrate, Wagner testified that Medina visited his place of business on September 24, 2021, paid to rent a vehicle for 3 days, and didn't return the SUV. Despite all attempts to reach Medina, they were unsuccessful. Coming up, high-level U.S. government officials visit Belize. We'll have more details when we come back.
When you are repaint the guest room, remember to fix the faucet too.
Take a break from rising prices and come into Brothers Habet or Habet and Habet for our sizzling September sale. Shop and save with these great deals, like 15% off select brands of our signature paints, and 20% off all Piso Forte tiles and all cement outdoor tiles, plus big discounts on thinset. But it doesn't stop there. Get 15% off all Moen products and 30% off clearance models. Enjoy 15% off Sunlight aluminum and vinyl windows and doors. And get 20 to 60% off decorative light fixtures. Come on down and celebrate September with incredible deals at Brothers Habet and Habet and Habet. Call, WhatsApp, or email us for more info. Happy September, Belize.
Looking for a great way to explore the beauty of Belize this weekend? Caribbean Sprinter is the fastest water transport for your perfect island hopping experience. Spend less time waiting and more time enjoying. Book your tickets now online at sprinter.bz.
Visit Benny's today to get all your household and construction needs, from tiles to paints, electrical and plumbing supplies, to power tools, lights and fans, to kitchen appliances and faucets, gym equipment to household items. We have what you need. We also offer store-wide promotions for you, our customers, so you can enjoy deals and discounts all year long. To get more value for your purchase, take advantage of Benny's B-Bucks, which is free money. All you have to do is shop at any Benny's location or entity. Stop in at Benny's Home Center on Regent Street, Benny's Bargain Center on Freetown Road, Benny's Superstore 2.5 miles Philip Golson Highway, or Benny's Cayo 43 miles George Price Highway just outside Belmopan. Enjoy special offers, free delivery, and get rewarded with free money when you shop at Benny's today. Benny's, quality and savings.
That'll be $50. Thank you. Wait, hey, this 50 is a fake. How do you know it's a fake?
What are you talking about, sir? How can I identify a genuine note from a fake note?
Well, a genuine 50 has a watermark with the jaguar and the written words of the 50, also a thread.
Know your money and know a fake one when you see it. Do not rely on any one security feature. Look for the clarity and quality of printing. The printed lines and colors should be sharp and clear. Feel the quality of the paper and the raised print. Hold the note up to the light to see the windowed security thread. It should form one complete line when held up to the light. The watermark and denominational electrotype. The Jaguar is the watermark in the $100 and $50 notes. The Sleeping Giant is the watermark in the $20, $10, $5, and $2 notes. The see-through feature. The parts of the design printed on the back should fit exactly within the unprinted areas of the front to form the complete design. Check the $100 note for the toucan hologram with the periwinkle flower overprint. Tilt it to see the small images of the toucan and the numeral 100. Check the $50 note for the green foil angelfish. Check even closer. Use an ultraviolet light to see the fluorescent features. Use a magnifier to see the microlettering. Tiny letters that read Central Bank of Belize and the value of the note. Stop the circulation of counterfeit Belize currency notes. Pass all counterfeits to the police at once. It is a criminal offense to hold or use a counterfeit. Be safe, be sure, know your money.
A high-level delegation of the United States government is in Belize to meet with Prime Minister John Briceño and members of his administration. Border security, transnational crime, and migration are among the issues being discussed during their visit. It is rare to have a delegation composed of representatives from the Office of the Vice President, State Department, Department of Defense, and the USAID travel together to visit any one country. This morning, the delegation held a press briefing inside the U.S. Embassy in Belmopan, where Danielle Erickson, the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense in the U.S. government, spoke about the importance of this visit.
It's very rare that a delegation composed of the different elements of the U.S. government, including Office of the Vice President, State Department, USAID, and Department of Defense, would travel to a country together for high-level meetings. And it demonstrates the importance that we do give to the U.S.-Belize relationship. During the visit, we've had the opportunity to meet with various senior figures in the Belizean government, including the Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister, the Home Minister, the National Security Advisor, and other elements that manage economic policy and security policy of Belize. From the perspective of the Department of Defense, we recognize the important role that Belize plays both as a member of the countries of Central America, but as a member of the Caribbean community as well. And we really do recognize Belize's leadership in the region. We're also very appreciative of the steps that Belize is taking to address climate change. This is an important issue for the Department of Defense as well. And we do want to work with Belize to strengthen its capacities for humanitarian assistance and disaster response. We also recognize the challenges that are posed by transnational criminal organizations. We had an opportunity to review border security and look at some of the initiatives that we can take there. including a visit we conducted to the Joint Intelligence Operations Center, which helps to provide air domain awareness in Belize, as well as a visit to the air wing, where we got to also see the Cessna that was donated recently, which allows Belize to have greater knowledge and domain awareness over its airspace.
Daniel Erickson, the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Western Hemisphere, responded to specific questions on transnational crime. Erickson was asked to elaborate on specific commitments that the United States government has made in partnership with Belize to aid in the fight against transnational drug trafficking organizations. He was also asked to comment on how the U.S. government is working to curb the demand in its country that fuels these crimes.
It's the challenge posed by transnational criminal organizations affects Belize, it affects the United States. Of course, it has a broader regional dynamic as well throughout Central America. There's several steps that we are taking and can take. I referenced previously in my remarks the work that we're doing with the Joint Intelligence Operations Center, which is really intended to provide much better awareness for Belize of these air tracks that you referenced, so that the country's authorities can have a sense of what is coming in and going out of the country in terms of overflights. With respect to the border, you're absolutely right. Border security is a key concern that you have essentially on the western side of Belize, a border where much of it's jungle, as you know. It's parts of it are impassable, but there is, I think, an increasing challenge that's posed by trafficking in that area. And so we have discussed with Belize the government's plans and strategies to address that and to see what more the Department of Defense could potentially do to support. Of course, when you look at border security and the effort to ensure that rule of law is upheld with respect to transnational organized crime, a lot of that burden also falls on the domestic law enforcement agencies and not necessarily on the military, although there are ways that we can work together on that.
How do you respond to the notion that these operations are fueled by the demand?
There's a lot of work being done within the United States to, for example, address demand reduction, which is an important part of the equation. But I also think that it means that all of the governments in the region are incumbent to work together, both in terms of sharing information, law enforcement cooperation, and ensuring that the challenge posed by transnational criminal organizations can be addressed and reduced over time.
The Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense was also questioned about the proliferation of firearms in Central America that are manufactured in the United States. A Bloomberg report published in July investigated how U.S. gun exports are fueling violence across the world. According to Bloomberg, almost 300,000 semi-automatic rifles have been exported into Central America over the last 17 years. Neighboring Guatemala is the second largest importer in the region.
Writ large, we're very concerned about gun violence in the region and illegal weapons trafficking. A lot of this is managed beyond the scope of the Department of Defense per se, because it has to do, as you indicate in your question, with other agencies of the U.S. government. There was, as was alluded to by my colleague from the Vice President's office, a very important meeting that took place earlier this year in the Bahamas with the representatives from the countries from across the Caribbean, where this topic was addressed. I think we'd be happy to share with you the readout from that meeting so you have more information on it.
The United States Agency for International Development has committed $600,000 US to assist the International Office of Migration in Belize. The funds are being granted to provide migrants with greater access to health care, education, and to improve their overall livelihood. The announcement was made during this morning's press briefing inside the U.S. Embassy in Belmopan.
Belize is not alone in facing these challenges. For many years, the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, has been a strong partner of Belize and its people. And this interagency delegation is a reflection of our continued commitment. In particular, USAID has been proud to support the government of Belize in the implementation of its amnesty program, allowing migrants residing in Belize to obtain legal status and access to a pathway to citizenship. As we collectively address historic levels of displacement and evolving migration flows in the region, initiatives like this one are critical. Today, I am pleased to announce $600,000 US, which is 1.2 million Belizean dollars, in additional funds for the International Office of Migration to continue supporting the important work in Belize, coordinating closely with key government counterparts in migrants hosting districts from San Pedro to Valley of Peace and to Punta Gorda and beyond. Providing legal status is crucially important, but the needs goes beyond. This support will continue to help migrants to integrate in host communities, access health care, enroll their children in school, and learn English as a second language. Giving migrants the opportunities and tools to build livelihoods in their new communities benefits the entire region.
In 2020, the U.S. State Department's Bureau of Population, Refugees and Migration contributed $5 million to Belize through its international partners. Most of these funds went to support the government of Belize with the amnesty program. It was expected that as many as 40,000 irregular migrants would regularize their status. But that was not the case. According to Gilroy Middleton, the chief executive officer at the Ministry of Immigration, a little over 12,000 irregular migrants applied under the program. The deputy assistant administrator at USAID was asked if they view this as a failure.
We had very fruitful conversations yesterday with the foreign minister, prime minister, and we were noting and underscoring the importance of Belize being a partner in this shared challenge in the region as it relates to migration. And I think Belize, and we communicated this, has really become a model in many ways in our region for looking for all types of solutions to integrate migrants. So looking at sustainable solutions. And I think this is definitely, it's in its beginning stages. We're trying to identify any gaps and challenges where we may be able to assist. I think the announcement that I made today is in support of that. So no, I would not say that it is in any way a failure, but actually something that a lot of the neighbors in the region should see as a model for looking at how to solve some of the challenges related to migration.
And finally, from the U.S. delegation's visit to Belize, the United States is in discussions with its multilateral partners about the instability in Haiti. At the United States' request, Belize is presently weighing the possibility of providing personnel in support of a potential multinational force in Haiti. There is no concrete commitment in place as yet, but if these talks actually take shape, Belizean soldiers could be traveling to Haiti to offer security support.
The U.S. has been deeply concerned around the deepening insecurity in Haiti and the fact that the government there and the Haitian National Police has been very challenged by gangs in Haiti. Right now, we're in the process of holding multilateral conversations with a variety of different countries, both within the region and beyond the region, to see what can be done collectively to address the challenge in Haiti. We would welcome Belize to be part of that conversation, but there's no firm plans at this time in terms of a Belizean contribution.
After the break, Immigration Department takes measures to discourage the forging of stamp. We'll tell you about that, but first, here's a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Government performance and making government more efficient and effective at what it is supposed to do. So when you're looking at the Constitution, when you're looking at any law, when you're looking at any policy or any decision-making process, part of this concept of accountability has to do with the efficiency and effectiveness to which we make decisions and to which we deliver goods and services. And corruption is a detriment to that. But corruption and dealing with corruption is not a focus. The focus is on dealing with good government. Government that is performing, government that is delivering, government that is effective.
It's time for you.
Carnival Association, Empire Entertainment, and Travelers Liquor presents the return of the last laps inside the Marion Jones Sporting Complex. It's all going down on Saturday, September 9th. That's right, on Carnival Day, where the carnival will be finishing inside the stadium for the last laps and the judging of the 9 competing bands. Come on out and cheer on your favorite band, and immediately thereafter, you get to get off the bleacher and come on onto the grounds for the first ever Rags and Flags party, featuring DJ Drea, all the way from Trinidad and Tobago, DJ Sambo, and it's all hosted by DJ Dixie and Yannicka Matthews. Giveaways will be fully loaded, and food and drinks will be on sale. Gates open from 3 p.m. and this party lasts until 8 p.m. It's the Rags and Flags Party, Saturday, September 9th, inside the Marion Jones Sporting Complex. Marion Jones Sporting Complex. See you there. Start to shake the place.
My beautiful Belize, my land of the free, my home and it's bound by the Caribbean Sea. Valiant and bold, proud we are strong. Belize we rebound at age 41. Belize we are free and independent. We're free and independent. Free and independent. To be whatever you wanna be. Free and independent. We're free and independent. Free and independent. We're changing our country. We're free. So make we celebrate with smart. Come celebrate with smart. Make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart. So make we celebrate with smart. Come celebrate with smart. Make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart.
The entire Smart family wishes all Belizeans a safe and happy September celebrations. Smart, bringing people together.
Get out and explore this weekend with Caribbean Sprinter. With our ferries, you'll get to San Pedro, Belize City, and Key Cocker faster and smarter. Visit Caribbean Sprinter online at sprinter.bz.
My Social Security. Your direct online access to all your Social Security information. 360 view of all your Social Security information. Registration services, benefits, contributions, and employer services at your fingertips. Enjoy all the new features with your My Social Security account. Register with SSB. Submission of benefit claims. submission of contribution statements, view contribution record. Enjoy all your My Social Security feature at ssbportal.org.bz. Social Security at your fingertips.
Travelers Liquors Limited is celebrating 70 years as one of the nation's leading spirit manufacturers. What Jaime Don Omario Perdomo started as a bar in Belize City in the 1950s is now an internationally recognized company with third and fourth generation leadership. Travelers Liquors Limited is a story of Belizean heritage, ingenuity, and longevity. For its 70th anniversary, the company launched 2 new rums. News 5's Paul Lopez has the story in tonight's installment of Belize on Reel.
Travelers Limited was founded 70 years ago by the late Jaime Don Omario Perdomo and his wife Perla.
What started as the dream of a young entrepreneur has grown into a proud Belizean family company. The company's first 50 years was managed mostly by men. The women were always in the background supporting them. But now I am extremely proud to say that in the last 20 years or so, more women have become involved to now being managed by mostly women, which includes my sisters and myself.
On Wednesday night, family and friends gathered at the factory in Belize City to celebrate 7 decades of high-quality spirit manufacturing. In 1953, Don Omario opened a bar in Belize City named Travelers, where he began creating his own rums. This led to the creation of the award-winning 1-barrel aged rum.
At 9 years old in 1938, his humble ambition was to sell his basket of food to all of the people at a well-established distribution business. As he stood outside the offices, he watched his then competitor, a 12-year-old girl, sell all of her basket of food. With little formal education and no connections, in just over 10 years, he would become one of the top national salesmen of the same distribution company, where he would learn the ropes of the distribution business and understand the liquor market of the country. Travelers was born from a boy's ambition to provide for his family.
When Don Omario's sons Romel and Jaime Perdomo Jr. became of age, they joined the family business. Their youthful energy and enthusiasm contributed to the growth of the company. Romel passed away in February 2022. He was affectionately known as the Wolf. In honor of Romel's legacy and contributions to the company, for its 70th anniversary, Travelers unveiled its Wolf Edition rum.
The formidable blend, carefully aged in ex-bourbon casks and rested an additional 9 months in ex-sherry casks. With every sip, we celebrate life, loyalty, and the passion of our brother and father, Romel. His vision of expanding our aging capacity leaves Travelers the legacy of being known worldwide for its excellence in aged rums. He was a powerhouse within the Travelers heirdom. Join us as we pay tribute and share this intricate and sophisticated blend.
Today, Travelers Liquors Limited distillery, aging, and bottling plant are modernized to meet strict export standards. The company now sells its products across Europe, Canada, and the United States. In 2008, Travelers released the Don Omario's Vintage Rum, which is aged for 10 years. For its 70th anniversary, Travelers also unveiled the Don Omario's XO Rum, which is aged for 18 years.
This is the oldest rum we've ever released, and we now are releasing today Don Omario XO. It is a delightful rum, almost perfect. It offers a complex, delightful flavor that excites your senses. It is ruby red in color. The notes on the nose is rich with aromas of cherries, fruitcake, vanilla, and toasted coconut. On the palate, there is a harmony of flavors with smooth notes of caramel, vanilla, butterscotch, and oak that is so well balanced. It provides an elegant sweetness of tropical fruit also.
What started as a little bar in Belize City has grown into an internationally recognized company. And as the company has expanded, so has the Perdomo family, all gathered to celebrate 70 years of dedication and excellence.
I would like to thank the people who have been with us since the inception and those that are still with us. It goes without saying that I would have to thank the founders, my late father Omario Perdomo and my brother Romel Perdomo. You know, of course, my sweet mom, Mrs. Perla Perdomo, who is here with us today. We thank you for your support over the last 70 years and look forward to another 70. I hope you enjoy these two fine products, but remember always to drink responsibly.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
The oral hearings for the Belize-Guatemala territorial dispute that is before the International Court of Justice are closed for now and won't resume until next February. Minister of Foreign Affairs Eamon Courtney explained on Wednesday that elections of new judges are slated for November. Courtney said that Belize will be paying keen attention to who we vote for as judges. And viewers will recall that Belize had instituted proceedings before the ICJ against Honduras with regard to a dispute concerning sovereignty over the Sapodilla Keys. Courtney also said that Honduras has participated in the proceedings.
The new bench will take its seat in February of next year, so we expect either sometime in late spring or in summer we will get a hearing. Our lawyers tell us that the ICJ docket is full, but they believe that by summer we should have a hearing date.
And are you able to clarify for us how does the Honduras aspect of the case factor into the timelines?
So far, it has not affected the timeline. We have filed, our memorial. We are awaiting their counter memorial. So far, it has not changed when we expect the case to be heard.
And have they, because I think there was some issue regarding whether they would respond or not or participate at all, but once the process was initiated by Belize, they have to respond.
They have participated. They have attended meetings at the court in terms of setting deadlines, so they are participating.
And I know that people look at the origin of the judges, like the jurisdiction and country where they come from. Do you pay attention to those as well? And is it established yet, like what areas those other judges who would be coming on come from?
Coincidentally, I just received an email this morning with advice on which judges we should support and which we should not support. I have passed that on to our permanent representative in New York so that we can do an assessment.
And are you able to clarify for us how does the Honduras aspect of the case factor into the timelines?
So far, it has not affected the timeline. We have filed, our memorial. We are awaiting their counter memorial. So far, it has not changed when we expect the case to be heard. They have participated. They have attended meetings at the court in terms of setting deadlines, so they are participating.
In August, 13 Brazilian nationals were apprehended in the Cayo district with false Belize immigration stamps in their passports. They were escorted to the San Ignacio police station and were required to present their travel documents. And when they did so, the stamp that was used to authenticate their entry was clearly fake. It is becoming commonplace among some Central American migrants attempting to reach the U.S. via Mexico seeking asylum. And the Minister of Immigration, Eamon Courtney, says there are a couple theories as to where the fake stamp originated. but that the Immigration Department will remove that particular stamp number out of the circulation and take other security measures to discourage this kind of illegal activity.
I will admit that in addition to Brazilians, we have also seen others with those fake stamps. We have tried to identify where that stamp originated. There is one school of thought that it is in Guatemala. Somebody's in Guatemala with the fake stamp. There are another view that it is somebody in Belize. We have taken certain measures to, first of all, take that stamp out of circulation, that particular number, and other measures to try to heighten the security level to ensure that, as best as we can, no fake stamp is used. But that's an issue that is under very close review.
Did you pay attention at all to the allegations made in the supposed Borja testimony that passports were also being fabricated, and he thought that, listen, this thing looked really fake, you could tell, and so he wouldn't get involved in that?
I didn't listen to all of his recording. I couldn't understand a lot of what he was saying. It seemed quite incoherent. But from other sources, what I have been told is that the passports that he was referring to were fake, non-Belizean passports. Dead Americans, dead British people, the passports for foreigners. It was foreign sales of land sales that they would present fake passports for. That's what I was being told from a different source. I have not heard that they're talking about fake Belizean passports.
And so then, for such a case, would you say there's been collaboration with the Belize government and those governments to look into that?
Well, as you know, there is quite an extensive investigation on the way. And yes, we have been speaking to security and Interpol from other countries to understand whether or not the passports are indeed fake. As you say, I'm told, again, I haven't seen them, that some of them are obviously fake. And we have to, again, get on top of what is happening there.
As for the 7 Mexicans who were detained last month near a police checkpoint on the suspicion that they were dispatched to Belize to assassinate a Belizean drug lord, that has proven to be false, according to Courtney. He says that following a police and immigration investigation, the Immigration Department is satisfied that the reports in the media were incorrect. But while the men are not related to any of the Mexican cartels, they were working in the country illegally. They have since been deported, Courtney says. Several dirt roads in residential communities in San Pedro are being cemented as part of a $25 million municipal bond that the town council has floated. The roads, which are prone to flooding in the rainy season, have been raised and resurfaced. Mayor Wally Nunez told News 5 that part of the project also includes the resealing and refurbishing of the 2-lane bridge. The San Pedrito, San Pablo, DFC, and San Juan areas of town are primarily where the infrastructure works are being carried out over the next few months.
We have started in the Escalante subdivision. We have done parts of DFC and part of San Juan area. Sorry, this is San Pablo area. These streets will be connecting the different areas. So we call it paving it forward and connecting people, because we are connecting the different areas as one project. So right after DFC and the San Pablo area, we're coming into the area by the airstrip, and behind the airstrip where you have San Pedrito, that will connect to town. There is also another connection which would be behind the gas station, which is Sea Grape Drive, all the way coming down to by Tropic Air. We also have here at ENL, beside Holchan, that street will be concrete all the way to the back in the area of San Juan. We're going all the way to Boca del Rio. and also the San Mateo area. The main streets will be paved. So roughly everything is about 8 miles. On our first year, we started to do a lot of street works, which were in a very, very deplorable conditions. And those street works were the base of what we are doing now, because the main roads in all these residential areas were worked on. We put different material than what it used to be used on these streets, so that we can form that base so that we can pave it afterwards. We also did the bridge, the 2-lane bridge. So everything encompassed in one project, in one plan, which this project is, we're raising municipal bonds, and roughly around $25 million will be invested in all of these areas.
When we return, training for police officers on intervention in mental health situations.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway, from Roaring Creek to Esperanza, has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times, and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Looking for a great way to explore the beauty of Belize this weekend? Caribbean Sprinter is the fastest water transport for your perfect island hopping experience. Spend less time waiting and more time enjoying. Book your tickets now online at sprinter.bz.
Make your summer better. Over $30,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan. Use $100 or more regular prepaid credit. Do a SIM swap or text in to the shark code 786. In the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase.
No waste, no time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes. All methods give you more chances to win. Local airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize valued at $10,000, courtesy of Smart and the Belize Tourism Board.
Promotion ends September 15th. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart's Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
It's Carnival time, and once again, Channel 5 will bring you all the fun and excitement of this year's Carnival Road March. Our live coverage starts at 1 p.m. on Saturday, September 9th, with highlights of the King and Queen competition, mass camps, and Juve, leading up to this year's spectacular Road March. Don't miss all the sights and sounds of Carnival 2023 right here on Channel 5 and on our Facebook and YouTube pages.
Babe, have you seen the advisory that NEMA just posted? There's going to be a storm.
Storm? It's not a storm. That's just a little rain. We'll be all right.
Thank goodness that was only a simulation. But what if it wasn't? Consider this. You've worked hard building your future, your family, your business, your home. RF&G Insurance has policy options that can protect your most valued assets so that you can focus on what matters most. Include RF&G Insurance in your hurricane prep. Remember, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a Road Group company.
Despite having rogue cops in the department, as well as incidents of police brutality and, in extreme cases, death, police officers are sworn to protect and serve. But they are human beings and are also facing life pressures that can sometimes lead to mental health issues. This, as well as ensuring that officers do not violate the rights of citizens with mental health conditions, is what was discussed at a session held today at the Queen Street Police Station in Belize City. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Today, a rather sensitive discussion was held with a group of police officers. It surrounded the issue of mental health, as police officers are often the first responders.
How to deal with mentally challenged citizens. You know, as police officers, they're always the first responders to go on a scene. So a training like this is to help them enable how to respond to these people, how to diffuse the situation without going maybe to lethal harm, as we've seen in the past.
The collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Wellness has also seen a policy manual created and disseminated to police officers. It provides them with knowledge on how to best deal with situations where persons with mental health conditions are agitated and there is need for intervention.
So they learn things about distancing, understanding how to read both verbal and non-verbal behavior, how to respond, asking the correct open-ended questions, in order to diffuse it rather than agitate the person. They'll also learn also how to reach out to the mobile clinic from the Ministry of Health and other resources that are available to them.
They've been able to identify certain scenarios that they have encountered, how they responded to those scenarios, how the public perceives themselves as officers, and how they are treated as officers. The expectations that people have upon them are sometimes greater than they may be able to provide, but they understand their role as officers as well.
Psychiatric nurse Ingrid Bonilla is the mental health coordinator at the Central Health Region in Belize City. While facilitating today's session, she says that she has detected a change in how officers view persons with mental health conditions.
When it comes to an individual that they may identify as having a mental illness, they're considered to be different, not someone of value, treating them as if though the goal is to protect themselves more as officers because that person is more dangerous. And at the same time, but times have evolved, I've noticed in this training. Previous trainings have shown me that officers did not consider them as valuable as they do now. Now they actually, in this training I have identified where officers see those with mental illness as someone that has rights.
But what about the mental health of police officers? Like relatives and friends of slain persons, and even those exposed to trauma, police officers may also be battling emotional pressures, financial issues that affect them mentally. Psychologist with the Belize Police Department, Leon Lester, says that the well-being of officers is also very important in order for them to carry out their duties.
Since I came on board 3 months ago, it is something that I've pushed a lot with internally through a lot of information via WhatsApp, via emails, how to look at yourself and assess whether you may be struggling with certain things. Police officer going to a traffic accident scene, a murder scene, those things do leave a trauma, vicarious trauma, that initially you may not sense it that something is wrong, but when you really begin to self-reflect, you see that, yeah, something is off with me. I may not be able to sleeping okay. So those are things that I have begun to push with them internally.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
The event was held on the margins of World Suicide Prevention Day. That is on September 10th, but is being recognized today. Suicide, although still considered taboo, continues to take place, and the day is set aside to bring awareness around this mental health issue. While women are more prone to committing suicide by ingesting pills or poison, men choose a more lethal method, like a firearm. This year, the theme is creating hope through action. Psychiatric nurse Ingrid Bonilla speaks of the purpose of the mission behind the awareness activities during this month.
The purpose of this, of course, is to ensure that we create that awareness and support to families that have been able to go through something like this, and for those people who may be thinking of doing harm to themselves or committing suicide, and for those who have committed suicide, to keep them in mind that this is real, people go through this, and that we need to do something about it if we're able to intervene. The key thing is that if we are able to do something about it before it happens, those are what we want to focus on. The plan is not to bring awareness to the actual death in itself, but to create hope in those who are thinking of doing something, all right? And for families who have it within their family to know that they can turn to someone. They may not know what to do, but they can turn to us to see how we can assist them. So the theme for this year is actually creating hope through action, right? So do something. We want to do something and create that hope.
There are several activities being held to commemorate the day, including a candlelight vigil that will take place in front of the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital tonight. A high court decision in a case brought against the Attorney General's office was handed down in favor of former Tropicare CEO Stephen Schulte. In 2018, Schulte brought a claim against AG's office in which he sought a declaration that Sections 48 and 52 of the Families and Children's Act are contrary to and violate his rights as it regards to the payment of child support. The matter arises from a separation between himself and his former wife. Schulte was represented by senior counsel Magali Marin Young.
In this particular case, Mr. Schulte was 77 years old and had married a 27-year-old lady. At the time of the marriage, the lady had 2 children for fathers other than Mr. Schulte. In other words, they were not his biological children. The marriage lasted 7 months only. And after the breakup of the marriage, the 27-year-old wife filed a claim at the Magistrate Court Family Division to claim maintenance for her 2 children against Mr. Schulte. We were asked, Mr. Schulte asked us to defend the matter. Now, when the claim was first heard, the first magistrate did not award maintenance. Mrs. Schulte at the time, Mrs. Elida Johanna Escobar Schulte, filed another application for maintenance, and she was given an ex parte order against Mr. Schulte for him to pay over $5,000 a month for these 2 boys. We then applied to the magistrate to set aside that order, and we also brought to the magistrate's attention that we intended to challenge Section 48, subsection 1 of the Families and Children's Act because it was discriminatory. That section is discriminatory because it imposes a liability on a man to maintain not only his children, but also to maintain the children of his wife who are living with him at the time. Whether those children are his biologically or not. And it was under that section that the magistrate had awarded over $5,000 per month against Mr. Schulte to maintain these two boys.
According to Schulte's attorney, they were fruitful in having the High Court declare that portion of the Families and Children's Act unconstitutional.
We were able to successfully argue before the court that that section was discriminatory against men in breach of the Constitution because the Families and Children's Act does not impose the same liability on a woman to maintain her children and that of her husband, whether she gave birth to those children or not. So we argued that in today's modern society where men and women work, that it is unfair to impose, it is discriminatory, it is unjustified to impose the liability on a man to maintain children that are not biologically his if they belong to the person who he marries. And the court agreed with us and declared Section 48, subsection 1 of the Families and Children's Act to be unconstitutional. So in respect to this matter, it means that his former wife, they're now divorced, cannot bring an application under Section 48, subsection 1 for maintenance. There is no provision that she would be able to impose an obligation on him to maintain her children, which are the children of other men.
From a layman's perspective, what is the lesson here should another individual find himself in a particular situation that is similar to the one that was faced by Mr. Schulte?
Well, you know, the law has to be just. The law has to be constitutional. It has to fit within the four corners of our Belize Constitution. And legislatures many times have laudable aims to protect women, to protect children. But sometimes in those laudable aims and with every good intention, laws may be drafted in such a way that they discriminate and treat men unfairly.
Up next, highlights of the final 4 competing mass bands.
Every year, World Environment Day is celebrated on June 5, and the Department of the Environment within the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management joins the nation of Belize and other United Nations member countries in worldwide awareness and action to protect our environment, with this year's theme being to beat plastic pollution. We have seen the effects of climate change, now exacerbated by the effects of plastic pollution, primarily from single-use plastics. The Ministry, through the auspices of the Department of the Environment, has enacted the pollution from plastics regulation in 2020, noting that single-use plastics is of high environmental concern. This regulation sought to curb the environmental impacts associated with single-use plastics and to better promote green alternatives, which resulted in the development of national standards for biodegradable products.
The government of Belize, through the Department of Environment, has been controlling and enforcing these regulations to ensure that we protect Belize from the threats of plastic pollution. In so doing, nationwide market surveillance and product sampling has been conducted, resulting in enforcement actions which includes sale prohibition and confiscation of single-use plastics and styrofoam. The detrimental environmental impacts of single-use plastics are everyone's concern. The government calls upon all businesses, industries, civil societies, NGOs, and you, the citizens of Belize, to have civic pride and to help in the fight against plastic pollution and to further contribute to the national efforts in transitioning to a circular economy. Together, we can beat plastic pollution. Happy World Environment Day.
Then say, no wait for the band no day again for say it me good. So, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science and Technology in association with Niche and the National Celebrations Commission presents the Living Legend Concert honoring the Gil Harris 7 Band at 50. Friday, September 8, 8 p.m. to 12 midnight, live at the newly named Lord Rayburn Plaza behind the Memorial Park on Marine Parade. Missy B, Lord Rayburn, Coconut Boy, Stone Jam, Super G and more will join the Gil Harris 7 Band to give you a memorable night and performance of all the Gil Harris classics and new hits. Hosted by DJ Dollar. Friday, September 8, 8 p.m. to 12 midnight. So mark it on your calendars for the Living Legend Concert Series as we pay tribute to the Gil Harris 7 Band at 50. Sponsored by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science and Technology, the Honorable Francis Fonseca, Niche, and the National Celebrations Commission.
Oh, hey guys. What am I watching? I'm watching Next Gen TV. What is Next Gen TV, you might ask? Next Gen TV is my go-to for finding a new obsession to keep me on the edge of my seat, to cheer on my favorite team, or maintain my binge-watching streak. With Next Gen TV, I no longer need to worry about finding the perfect watch. Get exclusive originals, live sports, live channels, your favorite movies, series, and more. Next Gen TV, the ultimate way to watch TV.
Make your summer better. Over $30,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan. Use $100 or more regular prepaid credit. Do a SIM swap or text in to the short code 786. In the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase.
No waste, no time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes. All methods give you more chances to win. Local airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize valued at $10,000, courtesy of Smart and the Belize Tourism Board.
Promotion ends September 15th. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart's Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
At this time, a showcase is taking place for the 4 non-competing bands in this year's Carnival Road March, and a News 5 team is currently hopping from one location to the next, capturing the spirit of the Bacchanal. We'll have the highlights from that showcase in Friday's newscast. But tonight, we show you the mass camps for the final 4 competing bands who put their best foot forward for the pre-judging. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
The final 4 competing bands took turns to woo the judges and secure maximum points in the pre-judging for the 2023 Carnival Road March. 2 senior bands and 2 juniors were slated for the night. First stop was Trenchtown Masqueraders, a junior band led by Patricia Flowers.
A blend of beauty, right? Basically, Flora and Fana, but I don't want a name. So I chose a blend of beauty. We are talking about the flowers of Belize. I can't choose one. We have too much. So I just blended everybody together with my own kind of way. You know how I do it. And then I did my scarlet macaw because that's the most colorful bird. Although we love with toucan, scarlet macaw bring out the colors in everything. I didn't know Belize have a blue morpho butterfly. When I found out about that one, now blue is my favorite color. So right away, if you see me queen before me dance energy kill it, you must know I'm going to put my power panda one day. And Saturday I must pull myself together and get it done.
50 you have to have. You don't reach that threshold, everybody done?
They leave it behind Pandat, but after tonight, I'm sure about it.
Attempting to sweep the competition this year is Jump Street Posse. Its band leader, 66-year-old Marina Welcome, is no stranger to Carnival with 38 years of competing. Jump Street Posse won the Carnival pageant in the junior category, and both its king and queen won the Battle of the Giant costumes over the weekend. So are they going to win the road march with their Disneyland theme?
I think outside the box this year, doing
Disneyland on the road in Belize?
That's right.
Give me, no man, you're 50 strong revelers. You're the come out for the win for a pageant. You're the come out from the win for a king or queen. Is this Marina coming for the road march this year?
Original Jump Street Posse. Huh? Original Jump Street. You see what the party say? We're doing a Little Mermaid. We have some mermaids. We have fairies, right? Because it's a fantasy. It's a festival of fantasy, but it's my way, right? So I can take it and do anything that I wanted to do with it. And that's what I did, right? So you have my Belizean Medusa, you understand me? Our dwarves, our way, right? You have the princess going to the ball. And hello, you have Rumble Philistines.
There are 4 seniors in total competing in this year's Carnival. 3 others have opted to simply participate. These next 2 bands have been battling for first place in the road march for years, and what we saw in terms of creativity and originality is exactly why they're among the best. Having won first place for Senior King and second for Senior Queen, Mother Nature Creation is showcasing the Belize rainforest.
Why we choose that team? Because we know a lot of tourists always come to Belize and they're looking for things that happening in Belize. So we went as a tourism site.
It's beautiful, beautiful, man. You win king, you win queen. It's like it man, but it's validation that it is really up there in terms of the presentation.
Yes.
How long it take you to put it together?
Well, we start from a little bit after April. We start to put together. I came up with the team. I came up with the king costume. I came up with the queen costume, and my son and my husband and the others, we put it together.
Mother Nature come for win.
Well, hopefully. I'm not saying yes, but we will see what will happen Saturday.
The last stop for the night was at Rogers Stadium, where the defending champion Soca Mocha staged its mass camp. 198 revelers strong. Band leader Audrey Bradley says that there were a lot of sleepless nights, but the concept focuses on hope.
Our team is a nation in distress. From ashes we rise. So this year we have the gang section, which is the Crips and the Bloods, but we just put a little twist to it. We didn't really use their rags. We found other rag to use, similar. And then we have the dead. Then hanging out in my shop, an idea come to me to put the phoenix bird that rises from the ashes. So that cost me, but it didn't matter because I love when my thing they look beautiful, and I think they look beautiful Oh my girls, they look amazing tonight. And the guys,
That wasn't planned.
That wasn't planned at all. That just come out from nowhere, that Phoenix bird. And then we have the good and the bad angel. My favorite color, the black and white. So, I always see the color in my carnival costumes, either white or black or both. This year I could have used both, with the angel and the bad angel. And then we have the celebration section for people. We celebrate after death.
Great Moody for News 5.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, good night.